Hi there, thanks for clicking on this video. The other day, I found myself standing in the middle of the living room holding a tiny sock, and I couldn't remember what I was planning to do with it. The house was a mess, dinner wasn't started, and my brain felt like it had 15 tabs open, with no idea which one to focus on. I wasn't lazy, I wasn't lacking effort, but everything, the stuff, the time, even myself felt like it was slipping out of my hands. If you're in that place right now, I see you. I've been there, and you're not alone. Today, we'll start with something small, 12 things you can gently let go of. Not because you're bad at cleaning, but because you deserve a home that feels lighter to live in. If you're looking for something calm but clear to help you start, this video might be just what you need. You know those things that are fine. They fit. They work, they're still in good shape, but every time you see them, a little part of you sighs, that's where we'll start. Maybe it's that blazer you keep for professional meetings that never happen, or the set of wine glasses you save for guests even though you always reach for the regular mugs instead. They're not broken, they're not useless, but they aren't you. These are the quiet clutter items, the ones that look innocent but drain you a little each day. They take up space not because they're helpful, but because you feel guilty letting them go. Here's the shift. If something doesn't add ease, warmth, or comfort to your daily life, it doesn't deserve a spot in your home. You don't owe space to things you don't love, even if they're perfectly fine. Try this. Pick one drawer, one shelf. Pull out anything that makes you pause. If you need to talk yourself into keeping it, that's your answer. Put it in a box labeled "Not Me." You can revisit it if needed, but chances are you won't even notice it's gone. Because the first breath of peace often comes from letting go of things that are almost right. So there's space for what's truly yours. And tomorrow I'll be sharing a few things we hold on to just in case, and how to finally let them go without fear. Stay tuned. And once you feel that tiny bit of lightness, you'll be ready for the next kind of clutter. We're about to tackle the kind that waits endlessly to be fixed. Let's talk about the things waiting for someday. The jeans missing a button, the toy with a broken wheel, the lamp that flickers unless you jiggle the cord just right. They're not trash, they're just not fixed yet. And that yet can linger for months, even years. Every time you walk past them, you hear a little voice, "I should take care of that." But with everything else going on, those small repairs sink to the bottom of the list and slowly start to feel heavier than they are. Here's a new rule: if it's fixable, fix it this week. Set a clear deadline, Saturday at the latest. If not, let it go. Not because it's worthless, but because your time and energy aren't endless. Maybe you're keeping that broken blender because you might get around to ordering the part. But you haven't. And the part's probably more expensive than a new one. You deserve tools that work and space that isn't full of half-done tasks. Because once you stop living in the future version of your to-do list, you get to enjoy your space as it is, not as it should have been by now. There's a kind of clutter that hides behind good intentions. The candle you're saving for a relaxing night, the pretty dish towel you don't want to ruin, the unopened picture frame sitting in its packaging for 2 years. These aren't broken or unwanted, they're just waiting for the perfect season, the right event, the one day when everything lines up and you finally use them. Which, let's be honest, is code for never. I once kept a set of wine glasses for when we have people over. 2 years, no guests, and I don't even drink wine. I finally gave them away, and guess what? No one held a grudge. Here's the truth. If something has sat unused for over a year, you're not saving it, you're postponing it out of guilt. Ask yourself, if I'm not using it now, what exactly am I waiting for? And do I want to keep spending space and mental energy on that wait? Here's what you can do. Choose one of those maybe someday items and use it this week. Light the candle, frame the photo, use the fancy towel on a boring Tuesday. Make this the special occasion because honestly, who's checking? If you don't want to use it or it doesn't feel right anymore, it's okay to let it go. You don't owe objects a future because your home should reflect the life you're living now, not the one you keep postponing. You walk into the playroom and step on a tiny plastic crown. Again. You bend down to pick it up, and suddenly you're not holding a toy. You're holding a memory. It's wild how something so small can carry so much emotion. That silly little car your toddler used to zoom across the floor. The stuffed animal they once refused to sleep without now sitting untouched for months. Your kids have probably moved on, but you haven't. And that's okay, because this isn't just about toys. It's about time and seasons and how fast everything is moving. But here's the thing, you don't have to keep everything to keep the memories. Pick a few that really matter. Maybe one favorite plush or the train set that saw real love. Take a photo if that helps. Write a quick note about the memory and then let the rest go, especially the ones they don't even notice anymore. If it helps, think of it this way: every toy you release is one less thing to trip over and one more inch of floor your kids can actually play on. Because you're not betraying the past, you're making room for the present. There was a time I kept a pair of heels in the back of my closet. Beautiful, expensive, worn once at a wedding 4 years ago. Every time I tried to declutter, I'd skip over them. Not because I needed them, but because they reminded me of someone I used to be. Someone who dressed up more, went out more, moved differently through the world. But that version of me, she's not here right now. It's strange how we hold on to items like they're proof that version of us still exists or might come back. The work blazer from an old job, the tiny gym gear you swore you'd use, the dress that used to fit a body you no longer live in. I'm not saying you've lost her. I'm saying you've changed and your home should keep up with you. Here's what I did. I took everything that felt like old me and laid it out. I didn't toss it all. I just asked, does this belong in my life today? Some things I kept and I wear them now with joy. Others I let go and I swear I felt a little more rooted in who I am now. Because growth isn't just emotional. It's also about what we choose to surround ourselves with. Some things stay in our homes not because we need them, but because we feel like we should use them. The workout gear, the language textbook, the sourdough starter kit from 2020 that's now part science project, part shame. They sit there quietly accusing you every time you walk past. You should be learning, you should be baking, you should be doing more. But here's something no one says enough. If it's making you feel bad more than it's helping you feel better, it doesn't belong. The fact that you bought it doesn't mean you owe it your time, your space, or your peace of mind. You're allowed to change, to admit something didn't work for you, to say, I thought I wanted this, and now I don't. And no, that's not wasteful. What's wasteful is dragging the weight of unmet expectations into every room you live in. Let it go. Not because you failed to become someone else, but because you're finally choosing to be fully, peacefully you. We've all made them the "this will change my life" purchases. For me, it was a juicer. I imagined slow mornings sipping green juice, finally getting my act together. In reality, it sat behind the rice cooker for over a year and never made it past one noisy, messy attempt. Maybe yours is a spiralizer you used once, a bullet journal with 3 pages filled in, or a yoga mat still rolled up in the corner. At the time, it felt like a promise, like a tool that would turn you into someone more productive, more focused, more put together. But sometimes what we buy is not just an object, it's a version of ourselves we were hoping to become. And when life doesn't line up with that version, the item lingers quietly, collecting dust and disappointment. Keeping it won't refund the cost. It won't bring back motivation. It just takes up physical and emotional space, reminding you of something unfinished, unfulfilled. And that kind of pressure has no place in a home that's supposed to feel like rest. So go ahead, release the object, thank it for its hopeful energy, and let someone else enjoy it or try their own one-time juicing journey. You've already learned the lesson. You don't need to keep the item too. At some point, we all start finding doubles or triples of things we didn't even know we had. 3 pairs of kitchen scissors, 5 spatulas, chargers in every drawer, and somehow never the right one when we need it. And don't even get me started on water bottles. Most of the time, duplicates sneak in during busy seasons. You couldn't find the tape measure, so you bought another. You borrowed your sister's salad spinner and forgot to return it, then bought one, then found the original. But when everything has a backup, and the backups have backups, we start drowning in options and losing track of what actually works. Here's the fix: choose your favorite, the one you always reach for first. Keep that. Maybe one extra if it's truly helpful. The rest out. Decluttering duplicates isn't about being minimalist. It's about being honest with what you actually use and giving yourself the gift of less digging, less guessing, and more breathing room. There's a box in the back of a closet, or maybe it's a drawer. You open it and you see the leftovers ribbon scraps from a half-finished craft, a stack of half-used notebooks, markers that might still work if you press hard enough. You tell yourself, I'll use these someday, for a project for the kids, for a rainy weekend when I finally have time. But weeks turn to months, and those supplies just sit there quietly reminding you of everything you haven't done yet. We tend to save these things because they feel useful, like proof that we're creative, prepared, resourceful. But keeping them too long often does the opposite. It clutters your space and your mind with undone ideas. Here's a new rule: if you wouldn't use it in the next 3 months, let it go. Someone else might actually be excited to make use of it now instead of someday. And if that feels hard, ask yourself this: are you holding on to the stuff, or the story of who you hoped you'd be? Sometimes we think we're being generous, holding on to things for other people. A baby carrier you're saving for your cousin someday, a stack of hand-me-downs your friend might want, kitchen gadgets you don't use but think your sister might need when she moves. But weeks pass, then months. And suddenly your hallway closet has become a storage unit for everyone else's life, except yours. Here's the quiet truth: if someone hasn't asked for it, they probably don't need it. And if they did need it, they'd have found another way by now. It's not unkind to let go of things they never claimed. It's not selfish to clear space in your own home. In fact, it's one of the kindest things you can do for yourself and for them. Because your house isn't a holding tank for other people's maybe one-day piles. It's the place you live in right now, and you deserve to move freely through it without stepping over someone else's future. We all have items tied to an identity we once hoped to grow into, but never quite did. Maybe it's a shelf of untouched self-help books, a sewing machine that still intimidates you, or those baking supplies you bought during a burst of ambition. At the time, they felt like symbols of progress, of who you could become if only life slowed down a bit. But now they sit there quietly, not as tools, but as reminders, not of possibility, but of guilt. And the longer they stay, the heavier they feel, like little whispers saying you were supposed to do more. Here's something softer to believe. Letting go doesn't mean you gave up. It just means you've changed. Maybe your interests shifted. Maybe your priorities evolved. That's not failure, that's growth. So ask yourself honestly, if I didn't already own this, would I choose to bring it into my life today? If not, you can let it go and keep the lesson, not the object. Because when your home reflects who you really are now, it stops feeling like a place you have to measure up to and starts feeling like home again. This might be the simplest, most obvious category, but also the most common one we skip. It's the bag of clothes by the door waiting to be donated, the broken lamp in the trunk, the kids' toys you boxed up last month but never actually dropped off. The things you already decided to let go of, but never followed through. And they're still here, still taking up space, still lingering in corners, reminding you that the job isn't finished. Here's your sign: finish the loop. If it's bagged, take it out today. If it's boxed, put it in the car. If it's in the car, drive it to the donation center, even if it's just a 5-minute errand. Because incomplete decisions still weigh on you. And crossing this off, truly finishing it, gives you a kind of relief that no amount of sorting or tidying can offer. Let this be the final quiet step that makes all the others worth it. So, that's it 12 quiet decisions that can lift a surprising amount of weight. Not everything needs to be done today. You don't have to declutter your whole house to feel better. But sometimes letting go of just one thing, the thing that nags at you every time you walk past it, is enough to shift something inside. Because this isn't just about space, it's about ease, about choosing what deserves to stay close and what can be released without guilt. If you're feeling a little lighter, even just in your thoughts, I hope you'll keep going one small corner at a time. And if you'd like more gentle support like this, I've got another video all about the invisible clutter hiding in your routines. It might just change how you start your mornings. If this one helped, consider liking or subscribing. But honestly, I'm just glad you're here choosing less noise and more calm.